What is up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be going over several quick tips for Fortnite's birthday update, or just like the kind of current state of the game with recent updates. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, and comment down below which tip or piece of information you found to be most helpful in this video. And like I said, a lot of it will have to do with the birthday update, but not all of it. It's just things that have changed in recent updates that I don't really think warranted their own video. Starting off with the birthday stuff, though, the flare gun was added in this update, and it is an incredibly good item, even if you don't want to carry it. So each flare gun has a certain amount of uses, and I believe if you eliminate someone who has a flare gun in their inventory, it drops fully loaded. And so you can shoot this into the sky, and it'll mark nearby players. If you shoot it onto the ground, it will light structures on fire, which can be helpful for kind of like forcing people out of hiding spots. Or if you're playing ranked versus porta bunkers, the flare gun can be kind of annoying to deal with when it lights your bunker on fire. But I think this item is very good. And like I said, even if you don't want to carry this around with you all the time, you can get a lot of value out of it. Because if you find one off spawn, you can just shoot it off a few times and you know if there's anybody that landed with you and if they did, exactly where they are. And this can be very helpful in winning your early game fights. Also, if you find it, during mid-game looting, you can, again, just shoot it off a few times, see what's around you, if there's anybody to, take, to worry about. If you eliminate somebody who had it in their inventory, same thing. You can pick it up and shoot it off a few times and just get kind of a scan of the surrounding area. So I think the flare gun, even if you don't want to actively carry it, you can still get a lot of value from this item throughout the course of the game. And one way that I like to use it recently is if I'm landing somewhere and then I'm going to rotate to Raft, like let's say Grim Gate, I wouldn't mind carrying this in my inventory as I approach Raft, shooting it off a few times to get a scan of Raft, and then playing accordingly. Since that's a POI that often plays out, pretty slow and people hide in a lot of different locations, getting that scan just as you pull up to the POI can be really helpful. The birthday presents were also added in this update, and when you get a present, you'll get a purple weapon and the birthday balloon medallion. This medallion is not like other medallions where there's only one of it on the map. There's several. Every present gives one. And it also doesn't reveal your location on the map. And when dropped, it doesn't show on the map either. So it doesn't have any downside. It just gives you the benefits of giving you balloons over time. And the balloons, I'm not the biggest fan of them, but they kind of just allow you to float around. And when you combine this with other mobility items, such as like the flowberry and shockwaves, they can produce some pretty interesting results. But if you're just using them without any other benefit, you do have to worry about fall damage. Like if you shockwave with balloons, you'll be immune to fall damage until you land because of the shockwave. But if you're just getting really high with balloons and someone shoots you out, you can die to fall. So if you're going to use the balloons and you like getting, high up with them, I would highly recommend, having a jetpack. But if you're playing ranked where there is no jetpack anymore, having Flowberry Fizz in your inventory to potentially avoid that fall damage if you can use it before you land, I think is a pretty good idea. Another interesting thing about this medallion and the balloons themselves is you can actually throw a shield bubble onto the balloon and run around like that. And this really isn't the biggest deal for public matches, but in ranked or cups with limited mobility items, this can actually be really helpful for rotating around. So even if you're not the biggest fan of the balloons, having a mobile shield bubble can be pretty helpful in a competitive setting. Another thing that is surprisingly helpful is that for some reason the Shuri Claw's melee attack can just go through the Cybertruck. I'm not really sure why, and this doesn't work with other vehicles, but if you're on the back of a Cybertruck and you take the claws out, you can just melee the people inside. Normally, you can't hit them with the pickaxe, you can't shoot them with your gun through the truck, but the Shuri Claws, for some reason, just fully penetrate the truck and allow you to get easy damage on players and oftentimes a lot of damage on unsuspecting players. Another thing about cars that I think recently changed, or I don't know when this changed, but I somewhat recently became aware of it, is that if somebody has a hired NPC, this NPC no longer blocks you from getting in the car. If you try to enter a vehicle where the NPC is occupying a seat, it's as if that NPC isn't even there. You can get in just fine, and the moment you do, the NPC will get out. So if you're someone who wants to take advantage of the pickaxe trick, someone having an NPC in their car is not a deterrent. And again, if you were someone on the flip side of this where you hired an NPC to avoid the pickaxe trick, that's not going to work. Some people might not go for it because of the NPC, but you could just straight up get in someone's car as if the NPC doesn't exist. Another recent kind of bug that happened is that for some reason the Ranger pistol seems to have a lot of recoil when you have a sight on it. Like it's just incredibly shaky. But if you pay attention to the red dot in the sight, it's actually not moving that much. And this is just a weird visual recoil bug. And another weird thing about this is if you jetpack, it completely removes this. So if you are someone who likes using the Ranger pistol and thinks that it got nerfed, it didn't get nerfed. This is just a weird bug. And I've also seen people saying they feel like the Striker AR has this as well, but not to the biggest degree. And if you do jetpack around with a Striker AR, it does feel like it has way less recoil, or like it has way less visual recoil. So not really sure what's going on there, but if you were confused about those items, I believe it's a just visual bug, and for some reason jetpacking removes it. With the recent update, Fortnite reduced the range of the Iron Man Gauntlet's lock-on. It is now 40 meters for the lock-on effect. So if you're able to fight somebody using the Iron Man gloves outside of 40 meters, they're not going to be able to lock onto you. This is good. It's still really helpful in a lot of the fights where the Iron Man gloves are going to be used, but I think it makes it a little more escapable. Like with this range being nerfed, your ability to escape from somebody using the Iron Man gloves, I think, got a lot better. If in a just straight up fight, I feel like it's still like a menace, but I feel like it's more escapable now than it was before, especially if you're using double mobility. Like if you're using just the hover jets, you don't move that quick, so it's hard to actually escape their range if they're following you. But if you're using something like Shuri Claws and hover jets or shockwaves, I feel like you can like rather quickly actually get out of their range and potentially reset that fight if needed. So I feel like that's the biggest effect of the range nerf on the gloves. Also, with the Iron Man update, they added the War Machine and Iron Man armories that land on the map throughout the course of the game. And you can actually tell whether or not this has been looted or not. If it's like orange in the case of Iron Man or kind of like bluish in the case of War Machine, that means it hasn't been looted yet. But when somebody opens it, you can still see the logo on the map, but it's grayed out. So if you are going for these items, and you see it's grayed out, odds are someone took it. But I feel like you can also use this to your advantage. If you don't want somebody to get the loot, you can just kind of take it and open it up and then maybe just leave it there, or if you're really extra, hide it. But either way, it being grayed out on the map, I feel like less people are going to go for it. So if I'm in an area where there's an Iron Man drop and I'm, alone and not having a lot of people go for it, I might just go ahead and open it up so people think that it's already taken and then just don't even go looking for it, hopefully. One thing that was also added in the Iron Man update is going to be the Stark drones at the gold POIs. And you can actually get hover jets and other mobility items from the Stark drones at these POIs. The spawn rate isn't the greatest, but I have been able to get the War Machine hover jets or jetpack from these, the Shuri Claws and shockwaves. So if you're landing at a gold POI and you still need a jetpack, definitely shoot down these drones and just check. I wouldn't pick where I'm landing based solely on this because it's not like the spawn rate is incredibly high. But if you looted and didn't get it, this is something that maybe you can take advantage of and hopefully be able to get a jetpack. The Iron Man Unibeam also does hit through shield bubbles. So if you throw down a shield bubble in a fight versus an Iron Man user, be aware of that. And a lot of people, for some reason, state this as if shield bubbles are a useless item because the Iron Man Unibeam hits through it. But if you guys have dealt with the Iron Man item, it's a very spammy, annoying item. If you throw down a shield bubble and then they're no longer spamming you and instead they're doing a Unibeam animation, I feel like that's a great time for you to jetpack out of your bubble, maybe do a side boost, and then just beam them while they're going for the Unibeam. I do the same thing in cars a lot of times as well. I like having cars to deal with the Iron Man and reduce how much I'm getting melted by it. And yes, the Unibeam can hit through the car, but if you take advantage of the time where they're doing that animation, that can be a time for you to get an HP advantage on them and hopefully flip that fight and win the fight versus the Iron Man user. So while the Unibeam can penetrate the shield bubble, you can kind of use that to bait them into doing that animation, and then hopefully you get a lot of damage on them in that time. The recent jetpack nerfs reduced the amount of fuel it has and made it run out of fuel even faster, which is something they've already done several times, but they did it again. And I feel like taking advantage of this in fights can be huge because it's a pretty noticeable nerf. I think people do run out of fuel pretty quick. So if you're in a fight with somebody and they're using their jetpack too much, or maybe someone's chasing you and you're in a car and they're using their jetpack too much, then you can just try to fight them on a time where their jetpack is on cooldown, and that's going to be great for you. This is another reason I like using double mobility. If you're playing a fight out, right, and you're using a combination of Shuri Claws and jetpack to travel, and the person pursuing you is only using jetpack, they're going to be using so much more fuel than you. And then if you can get to a spot to like beam them and turn the fight, they're probably not going to have any answer because their jetpack is on cooldown. So like anytime you see someone staying in the air and boosting way too much, just know that their jetpack will soon be on cooldown. And if you can get a fight when their jetpack is on cooldown, that's a heavy advantage for you. Also, if you just hate dealing with the Iron Man items or the War Machine hover jets, these items are no longer in ranked. They made it to where ranked has complete tournament rule set. So a lot of the Avengers items were removed. I believe the Captain America shield and the auto turret are still in, but everything else is gone in ranked now. And then they also added Siphon. For the remainder of the season, they're going to be doing different Siphon trials where each week it'll be a different amount of Siphon. This current week, as of the time I'm recording this video, is 40 health or shield on elimination. And one of the crazy things about this is that it actually stacks with the Siphon medallion. So as it's currently balanced, you get 50 Siphon from the medallion and 40 Siphon just base for playing the game. And so if you have Siphon medallion, you get 90 health or shield on each elimination. I'll have a clip playing on screen now of a game I won. I end up beaming one player in this duo and then fighting the healthier one. In the one I had weak, accidentally shockwaves into Storm and eliminates himself, but that counts as me getting an elimination. And after both that duo dies, I go from 40 white health to max HP. And now it's a 1v1, and instead of worrying about healing, I'm able to reload my shotgun and just prepare for this final 1v1 because I got 180 health in a fraction of a second because I eliminated a duo. So the Siphon is great. I really love that they added this to ranked. I think Fortnite is just a more fun game when Siphon is a thing. But taking advantage of the Siphon medallion in combination with this makes you a problem to deal with if you're getting eliminations. But that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys found this to be helpful, informative, interesting. As always, if you did, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like some more, and let me know which piece of information in this video you found to be most helpful. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.